here we are in 2008, and we had the Volkswagen suites on a new moon. And guess what sign it was in? Scorpio. Guess what new moon we're about to have? Scorpio. All right. Can't make it up. Okay. What's also interesting is there's so many politicians, bankers, like Adam Aaron, and Ken Griffin. We've done their charts before, and they all have a lot of big positions in the sign of Scorpio. So I'm not surprised that we've had banking issues and obviously elections during Scorpio season. And I would expect if we were to have a major market crash, certain things we would like to see for something like that to happen would be Scorpio season, right? And we would also want to see, a sign like Pluto or a sign like Saturn or Jupiter in the last degree. Particularly Pluto, because we've seen Pluto shake things up many times. When Pluto was in the 29th degree of Sagittarius, not only did we have the Volkswagen suites, but we had the market crash. Welcome to the Market Moon Lord, where we merge the matrix with the stars. I'm your host, Jason Alexander, the Blue Moon of Neptune, here to help you navigate through the illusions of life. It's Jason Alexander, the Blue Moon of Neptune, here to help you navigate through the illusions of life. You're watching the Market Moon Lord, where we merge the matrix with the stars, and today we're going to go over AMC's moon phase analysis along with some other interesting astrology statistics with the stock market. And you already know this is DD you absolutely cannot get anywhere else. So if you're watching on YouTube and you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And yeah, it's been 2 years since we dropped a AMC moon phase analysis video, and that's mainly because AMC stopped moving with the moon phases like it was doing before. Obviously, they had to change the algorithms and all that good stuff, but we have a very similar setup that we had in the past before some major events on the stock. And I can't help but to say, hey, we got to pay attention to this. So I'm going to be showing you guys what I think that's going to happen, what I'm looking out for. And I think we have a potential moonshot on the way. Okay, so we're not going to go too crazy with the technical side of the moon phase analysis. I'm just gonna break it down for you kind of quickly here. I don't really plan on doing too many moon phase stuff unless the market starts following moon phases again. But again, they changed the algorithms and stuff like that, and it's not as simple anymore. But we know during new moons, full moons, there's a high emotion, perfect time for FOMO, emotional trading, that sort of thing. And again, I've talked about that a gazillion times. You can go on the YouTube and see many videos on why moon phases work, and how you can use them. But the setup here is just crazy. So we've seen many times where there's an eclipse and AMC either bottoms around eclipse or it tops around eclipse. So right here we have eclipse right here, and I found a bottom. Shortly after, during that phase of the eclipse, so into the new moon to the full moon, this is right here, new moon into the full moon. This is a whole phase, okay? And on that phase, it found a bottom, you see? And then shortly after that, after this eclipse, the very next new moon, which just was a new moon eclipse, the very next new moon, short 3 days after that, we had the pop, right? And so we can almost see a very similar situation where we had the eclipse moon phase, and during that moon phase from new moon to full moon, we potentially found the bottom, hopefully, right? And then we're about to have the next new moon. It's like almost the exact setup. Now, here's what's even interesting as well. We have the new moon again, right over here was right around earnings, right? And it dropped on earnings, but then the days after that, it ran. And then here we have the new moon a few days before the earnings, right? So I'm thinking we're going to pop on the new moon or around the new moon, potentially 3 days after new moon, which happens to fall on earnings trading day wise, right? So I do think that we're going to see most likely we're going to see a big move on this, obviously, earnings, right? But obviously if it follows what we see here, it's going to be a moonshot. And again, we definitely, in my opinion, have reached a bottom. Okay. Another thing I want to say about this specific, this moon phase we're currently in, you see how solid all these colors are and the other ones are hollow. Because there's a clear trend change inside the phase from over here, and it continued the phase into the full moon. And so it's a stronger, we've had a stronger phase, and it broke a trend during this phase, right? So there's a change of direction, change of trend, and again, make me extremely bullish. So I'm thinking we have a good chance of retesting this trail line right here, just like we did over here, and we might run into the new moon and then drop on earnings and then pop back up. That's a scenario. Or we fall immediately this week and then we make the pop 3 days after the new moon, which will be right on earnings. Okay. So again, I'm thinking a retest, pop on earnings, or run to earnings, drop on earnings or close to it, and then pop shortly after that. Okay. Looking for a very similar setup to this. Alrighty. Basically what we need to see is all I need to see for confirmation is a change of volume, just like how we saw over here. Okay, we saw the volume start changing around this eclipse, and we saw some increasing, and obviously you saw what happened. All right, so if we see some interesting changes in volume, I'll be very interested to see how much volume we get. But if I should throw on some indicators real quick. Oh, I didn't realize I wasn't on the daily. I'm so sorry about that. We're not about to do that again. But you can see the same thing. Did not realize we weren't on the daily. You can see the same exact thing going on here. Basically the same setup. And it's actually more clear when I put it that way. But yeah, going to the indicators, one thing I do like that I saw, and we use vertex a lot to determine a pop into a new moon or a full moon, and we have the turn of the vertex, which I like, and it's been a while since we had the blue cross the red, which is very bullish, and the MACD is looking pretty good, and I love that the IV, the applied volatility is very low right now, so those options will go crazy if we get a moonshot. And I just want to show you a couple things from before. Now I do think there's a possibility that we're gonna get a new moon pop or around a new moon pop, but we may not get the final pop until the full moon, which would be something like this. We get some popping around the new moon, get a pops around a new moon, and then it's the full moon where we get the bigger event, which I won't be complaining because the FOMO will be crazier during the full moon. And yeah, so we are lining up for some interesting stuff. I just need to see the volume. We start seeing the volume go in, I'm already loaded up. But if I start seeing a clear volume come in, I might have to, just go a little bit harder out there. But we'll see how everything plays out. I probably will grab a few puts just to play it somewhat safe, but for the most part, I'm definitely playing to the upside, obviously, and it looks like it could be extremely crazy. And so I do want to talk about this Pluto situation. Okay, so if you guys are still watching this video and you're like, what the hell is this? It's totally fine, but continue watching, just be entertained. All right, I got some interesting statistics for you coming up. So if we look at October 28th, 2008, right before the market crashed, we have Volkswagen squeeze, right? Now, what's very interesting, if I go to 2008, October 28th, right? If we look at the sky, what do we have? We have a new moon. Okay, so the Volkswagen squeeze was during a new moon. That's pretty interesting. Another thing I want to point out is just the fact that during that Pluto was 0 or 29 degrees Sagittarius. We know the 29th degree, the last degree of any sign, and the first degree of any sign, 0 degrees, are the most powerful degrees of a sign. So when you have a planet going over these degrees, you can often see some type of climax, right? So here we are in 2008, and we have the Volkswagen Suites on a new moon. And guess what sign it was in? Scorpio. Guess what new moon we're about to have? Scorpio. All right. Can't make it up. Okay. What's also interesting is there's so many politicians, bankers, like Adam Aaron, and Ken Griffin. We've done their charts before, and they all have a lot of big positions in the sign of Scorpio. So I'm not surprised that we've had banking issues and obviously elections during Scorpio season. And I would expect if we were to have a major market crash, certain things we would like to see for something like that to happen would be Scorpio season, right? And we would also want to see, a sign like Pluto or a sign like Saturn or Jupiter in the last degree. Particularly Pluto, because we've seen Pluto shake things up many times. When Pluto was in the 29th degree of Sagittarius, not only did we have the Volkswagen Suites, but we had the market crash. Okay, so when we're looking at this chart, I want you to pay attention to the outside wheel. The inside wheel is AMC's chart. Okay, but the outside wheel is what's currently happening in the sky. I'm looking at November 1st. This coming Friday is the new moon in Scorpio. Okay. And is making a very nice trine to AMC's moon and a sextile to AMC's Pluto. I'm not going to lie, that doesn't excite me too much because I get really excited on AMC when we have something happening with the Mercury, because for whatever reason, we get a lot of pops when that Mercury is getting hit with a lot of stuff. We get some pops with the Saturn, the sun, and what's happening with the ascendant. I haven't seen a lot of trends with when things hit the moon, but this is a new moon hitting the actual moon. AMC's moon is exalted, and the new moon is debilitated in Scorpio right now. So very interesting. And when I say there's a lot of bankers with dominating Scorpio, either Scorpios in general, or they have like dominating planets in Scorpios, I mean a lot. I was almost about to do a video on it. I still may do that, and including hedge fund managers, it's like everywhere. So it's really doesn't surprise me that things could pop off during Scorpio season, because all of them are getting hit with all this, and Pluto's changing signs, which is the ruler of Scorpio. And I know that's a lot of information for some people who may not be into astrology, but we're having the same thing. Okay, we're having a new moon in Scorpio, just like Volkswagen did. All right, and we have Pluto 29 degrees again. It takes Pluto a long time to switch signs, exactly, or around. It could take Pluto anywhere between like 12 to 30 years, depending on retrogrades, to switch signs. So when it switches signs, you want to pay attention. It's the last planet of the zodiac switching signs. And the last time it went from Sagittarius to Capricorn, the whole market went, like, the economy was crazy, right? So we're in the same exact situation. Capricorn represents structures. Pluto represents sudden changes. The next sign is Aquarius, which represents futuristic innovation, pioneering, explosions into the future, destroying the old, bringing in the new. So come on, this is a crazy transition here. And we did videos on this like 2 years ago, talking about this exact moment when Pluto was in 29 degrees Capricorn on AMC's ascendant, which is 0 degrees Aquarius, and on AMC's Venus, which is 28 degrees Capricorn. I mean, this is a crazy moment we're having right now. I just cannot deny the setup for not only AMC, but just like in general. I mean, if you're playing the market, this is a great time to, make your bets. Okay. Cause something's about to go down, in my personal opinion. And I feel like it's if Trump wins, market goes up. In my opinion, hopefully that's good for AMC. I don't really know. But I think AMC is about to do something before that election, or potentially, because we're looking at 3 days before or 3 days after for a big pop as well. So let me tell you, that would be 3 trading days. 1, 2, 3. That would be the 6th. Okay, so let's go over to the 6th of 3 trading days. So let's take a look here. Okay. So we have Mercury opposite Jupiter. I love that. That's a big indication for news. Okay, at 0 degrees opposition. Mercury represents information, and Jupiter represents expansion. So typically, something like that. If you read like a stock market astrology analysis, you're going to say, hey, this looks like news, right? We also have Venus pulling up on AMC's Sun, which looks like, mergers, conversions, Venus dealing with relationships. And then we also have Pluto on top of Venus, which also deals with power and relationships and stuff like that. And the ascendant is obviously the face, the direction of the chart. So this is a very interesting chart on the 6th. So this week and next week, potential moonshots are on the way. And I'm not going to get too far ahead of ourselves here, but let's go ahead and take a quick peek of the full moon. What's really interesting about this new moon is it's debilitated, guys. So that basically means that people are going to be acting a little funky for this new moon phase. Okay, so it looks like we're going to have a Taurus full moon, and it looks like it's going to be right there on top of Aquarius or Uranus, which rules Aquarius. That's interesting. Okay, and then we still have the Jupiter opposition with Mercury getting the return. Whoa, hold up now. Mercury is about to return on AMC. I literally just said, that's exciting. I got chills. So we get the Mercury conjunction, Mercury return. Well, the conjunction starts happening next week. But wow. And then that moon is going to be over that Jupiter at the same time. That looks like an interesting day. So anyway, guys, I don't want to get too crazy about this. I just want to kind of like point out that this is looking very interesting. I'm definitely loading up for a potential big move. And I do think it's going to go to upside simply because everything looks like it's going to go to upside, and I'm going to be there for it. Okay. So, yeah, if you guys like this DD, please subscribe. I do want to come back to YouTube and stuff like that, but it's not going to really be, it's going to be a little bit more just like astrology and interesting topics around it, financial topics and stuff like that. But I don't think I'm going to be doing too much tracking after I make a big bag on GameStop and AMC in November. Okay. So, but yeah, go ahead and subscribe, hit the like button. And I appreciate you guys. Hopefully you guys are still in the play, some of the original Moon Lords and all that good stuff. But yeah, I'm Jason Alexander, the Blue Moon of Neptune, here to help you navigate through the illusions of life. You're watching Market Moon Lord, Warrior Merchant Matrix with the stars. Until next time, peace.